Russia, China and Iran are forming an axis that opposes the United States and its European allies. According to the commander of the U.S. Central Command, Vice Admiral Brad Cooper, Washington should pay close attention. I would point out the cooperation between Iran and Russia. I would also add to that the cooperation with North Korea and China. At the strategic level, this emerging axis is a concern and we need to keep an eye on it. And I will definitely do that, the military man noted at the Senate hearings. Cooper reported that Iran supports Russia during the Ukrainian conflict. China supplies Iranians with dual-use weapons and equipment, which then end up in the hands of the Houthis. The latter attack U.S. forces in the Middle East. The Vice Admiral believes that the U.S. authorities should talk more about this. The head of the U.S. European Command, General Alexus Grinkevich, also recalled the mutual military cooperation between Tehran, Moscow and Beijing in the context of the military actions in Ukraine. In the future, when we think about potential conflicts with major powers, we need to worry about how these conflicts play out simultaneously and how we and our allies can manage that, Grinkevich said. Former assistant to the head of the Pentagon, former U.S. ambassador to Saudi Arabia Ches Freeman, suggested that Russia and China would help Iran restore the air defense system damaged by Israeli and U.S. strikes. According to him, Tehran has no other options except turning to Moscow and Beijing. I think Iran is criticizing President Masoud Pezeshkian for not accepting Russia's offer, Freeman pointed out. However, according to Chess Freeman, Russia's assistance to Iran alone will not be enough. Therefore, Iran will also have to seek support from China. After the war, Iran will accept the offer it refused and turn to China for help in providing air defense. The former assistant to the U.S. Secretary of Defense is sure.
Fighters of the Primar Special Forces unit of the main intelligence directorate under the Ukrainian Defense Ministry have intercepted and struck the S-400 Triumph air defense system of the occupying Russian army worth $600 million as well as radar stations in Crimea Peninsula. Fighters of the unit used kamikaze drones to destroy the S-400 complex's firing device, 2 multifunctional 92N2E radar stations, and 2 91N6E detection radars. It should be noted that the S-400 complex, whose firing device and radar stations are rendered unusable, lost the ability to continue the operation.
The Russians continue to keep the Black Sea Fleet in ports far from Ukraine. Despite this, the Ukrainians managed to defeat these ships and in the future, creative and effective special operations such as the operation to destroy enemy aircraft, Spiderweb, are possible. This was stated in a commentary to Oboz Revitel media outlet by naval expert, research fellow at the National Military History Museum of Ukraine, retired Captain First Rank Volodymyr Zablotsky. He explained that the limited presence of Russian ships in the Black Sea is due to the lack of need. Their fleet no longer has the task of landing troops on the Ukrainian coast. For now, they are only terrorizing Ukrainian cities with Caliber missiles and doing so near their base in Novorossiysk. They keep ships in Novorossiysk and in occupied Abkhazia. When they need to, they can launch missiles directly from their bases. But they don't do this for security reasons because a missile can fall where it takes off, and Novorossiysk has oil. It's a commercial port, so they need to go out to sea at least not far, and shoot from there, he said. Zablotsky also noted that during one of the recent attacks, Caliber missiles were launched from submarines. The expert added that Ukraine does not yet have the means to track submarines and does not have enough aircraft to fight over the Black Sea. In this situation, according to him, Ukraine can only solve defensive tasks, not allowing the enemy to reach the shore and control its surface carriers. At the same time, the sea drones developed in Ukraine need time to reach their target. During this time, the enemy can find and neutralize them. The situation looks stalemate for now, but the military suggests waiting until the end of summer, when a new structure of the armed forces will appear, also focused on the offensive, because victories are not achieved in defense. We do not have the same resources as the enemy to endlessly fight in defense. This will be a resource war, and for us, it will be a losing one, he said, in response to a question about the effective destruction of Russian ships hidden in Novorossiysk and Russian-occupied Abkhazia, and the possibility of repeating a special operation similar to Spiderweb. He said, Ukraine continues to do everything to destroy this fleet, wherever it is. Ukrainian drones have already attacked the enemy in the Caspian, in Kaliningrad, through intelligence. A man got there and set fire to a Russian missile ship, a carrier of caliber. There were drone attacks on the port of Ust-Luga, a strategic point for the export of Russian oil products. This list can be continued, and this is far from the end. The war continues, and we have enough imagination to do it in an unconventional way. According to him, Ukraine was often ahead of the Russians in technological developments and creativity. In particular, it was the first to use FPV drones and surface drones, although the enemy later caught up with this development and scaled it up, thanks to the militarization of its economy.